Hello, in this video we're going to be, in our discussion, we're going to be using a calculator to approximate the values of a trig functions of acute angles. Since all of our calculators are going to be slightly different, this one's going to be kind of on your own, but I will show you with what I would have if I was using one of my calculators. Okay, so let's begin here. So we're going to use a calculator to approximate the value of the trig functions. Okay, so it's going to be cosine of 45 degrees, cosecant of 21 degrees, and the tangent of pi over 4. Now, the first thing I need to draw your attention to is notice the angles of each one of these trig functions. The first two are degrees, and the last one's going to be in radians because it's pi over 12. Okay, no degree symbol. Alrighty. Now, you have to make sure that your calculator is in the correct mode, because if you do a series of these problems and maybe the first two are in degrees, the next two are in radians, maybe the last two are going to be back in degrees again. So you got to make sure the mode is in the correct mode, because if you got in the wrong mode, then it's going to give you whatever your input is. Then it's going to give you the wrong answer because you're in the wrong mode. So cosine of 45 degrees. So the first thing we need to do is to make sure that our calculator is in the correct mode. In this case, degree. So I think the default usually is degree on most calculators. So if it's not in degree, though, you have to go into your settings or your menu page and change it to radian or degrees, as the case may be. So the cosine of 45 degrees is just on mine. You just punch it in. A lot of your calculators will open up a parentheses when you hit cosine. The newer scientific calculators, when you hit cosine, it automatically opens up a parentheses, so it's ready to accept your data. And so we punch in 48 and then immediately close off the parentheses, because that tells me the data is complete. And then you hit enter, and notice it does not give you a fraction. It's a ratio as a decimal. It's 0.66913. And most of the times if I ask you this question on a test, or if my math lab asks this question, they'll probably say round to 4 decimal places. So in that case, your answer would be 0.6691. because the next numbers are 3 and it doesn't round it up. So it's 0.6691 to the nearest 4 decimal places. Next one, now cosecant of 21 degrees. You can search all you want, but you'll never find the cosecant button on your calculator. You'll find a sine, you'll find a cosine, and you'll find a tangent. But there is no cosecant button. So when you do this one, you'll have to hit 1 divided by sine, because that's what its reciprocal is. Because it does not recognize, you can't find a cosecant button. Now, I say that, but there are calculators out there that does have it, but it's beyond the calculators that you're allowed to use. So it would first of all be a graphing calculator, and even all graphing calculators don't have that. It's just certain graphing calculators that you're willing to spend about 150 to 200 bucks on, which I don't believe it's worth it just to get this. So 1 divided by the sine of 21. And again, we got to make sure that our calculator is in degree mode. And so it's 2.79042011. So to the nearest 4 decimal places, it'll be 2.7904. All righty. So that's the biggest thing. Now, one of the things you might notice when you're doing it, you're not putting the degree symbol there. Now, some calculators, you can put the degree symbol to override whatever the unit is that your menu says it is. I don't think it's worth that. Just make sure it's in the correct mode in your settings and go from there. And that way you don't have to ever worry about the degree symbol. And besides, some calculators don't even allow you to do that. So again, this is for calculator by calculator. If you ever get confused on how to punch something into a calculator, that's what the manual is for. Now, the tangent of pi over 12, now the first thing we'll need to do is make sure this calculator, your calculator, will be in the correct mode. So you'll need to go back into your settings and change the degree back to radians. And then it's just a matter of punching it in. So tangent of pi over 12. Now, the biggest mistake that people make on some calculators is some calculators do not put the parentheses on there for you. And so they'll say tangent of pi over 12. And if your calculator doesn't automatically open parentheses for you, and there are still some out there that don't, then what's going to happen is it's going to take the tangent of pi, calculate that, and then divide it by 12. And you don't want it to do that. You want to take the pi over 12 and evaluate the tangent of the whole unit, pi over 12. But without the parentheses, then it's not going to do it. That's why they've decided to create these calculators that have an automatically parentheses that opens up. So just keep that in mind. All right. So again, if you have a problem with your calculator, I can help you to a point, but nothing is better than your manual. Just look at your manual and try to read your manual. I have a lot of experience with the TIs, very little experience with the Casios. So if you have problems with the Casio, you probably, by the time you get to me and have me to explain it and figure it out myself, which I could, but you'd probably, if you have your manual, you've already had it figured out by then. So TI may be a little different story. I could probably set you straight on TI pretty quickly. So, but that's up to you. So, if I have any questions on this one, let me know, and you have a good day.